there's a bit of an argument, or rather said, a disagreement going on inside of my cult, which is my Discord here, about how you should properly recover from work in order to be more productive. And so basically the two people are going back and forth talking about should you game, should you not game, etc. Now I want to clarify and talk about why, not in my personal opinion, but in my scientifical data, Dr. Stefan, PhD, motherfucking top G shit opinion, I believe, and science also says, that gaming, or for that matter of fact, going on your phone, watching a movie, scrolling TikTok, is really, really bad. As a matter of fact, it is detrimental to your productivity and your longevity when it comes to work. So, let's explain, let's break this down. I've got my whiteboard. Just kidding, psych. I don't fucking have that. That's over there. I'm going to just talk to you and show you why it's bad. Okay, because most people think it's, oh, well, gaming, it releases all these, fun, happy hormones, and it's creative, and, well, Elon Musk once said you should game, and, well, there's billionaires that game, so why can't I? Now, I'm not talking about gaming is bad, good, bad, it's not fun, etc. I've had some of my best memories of gaming. I'm talking about from a purely productivity standpoint, is it good, is it bad? So, let's talk about it. So, when you think of rest, when you think of recovering, what do you actually picture, right? When someone says, hey, man, I'm going to go rest, I'm going to go recover, do you picture them scrolling their phone? Do you picture them going for a run and going to the gym? Or do you picture them laying in bed, meditating, reading, taking a shower, taking a bath, going in the sauna, stretching, doing yoga, perhaps going for a walk? Which one do you see? I know what I see, and if you're any somewhat intelligent human being, you would probably say the same, right? Cool. And so that is because that is truly relaxing activities. That is activities that truly put your body at rest and also your brain at rest for the most part. Now, granted, our brain is always working even when we sleep, but for the most part, in those certain scenarios, our brain is to some extent at rest, right? To some extent, it is at peace. And so here's the thing. Is with gaming, for example, when you game, it releases a lot of these happy-dappy, lovey-dovey endorphins, right? Of like dopamine, serotonin, and all these other chemicals in your brain that makes you happy and have fun. That's why gaming in and of itself is fun, is it spikes your dopamine, your serotonin, etc. That's why it's fun, right? That's why we like to game, because it's fun. Same with going on your phone, right? If you guys don't know how TikTok works, there's something called, every TikTok video is a new video, and you don't know what you're going to get, which is called a variable reward. You don't know what you're going to get. Now, if you don't know this scientific study called the rat Skinner, or the Skinner rat box experiment. It's basically this idea that this guy put these rats in a box, and in those one box he gave the same reward every single time. The other box he gave different rewards, sometimes big, sometimes small, sometimes nothing. The people who got the variable, the rats who got variable rewards compulsively pressed this lever to get the rewards. As a matter of fact, to some extent, these rats even started dying of starvation because they didn't even eat the rewards because they were just so obsessed with pressing this lever compulsively. That's the same how TikTok works, right? They've studied these things maliciously to do this to you on purpose, so you keep scrolling. It's why there's no end. Right? Google has an end, TikTok doesn't. Why? Because they want you to keep scrolling. And that's because you're in this endless pursuit of the best video, which doesn't exist, because how do you define the best video? Well, there is no such thing. Anyways, we digress. So you keep looking, spiking dopamine. See what happens. This is also, for context, this is also why, we'll get into this in a second, but here's what happens, is you rise your dopamine, your serotonin, etc., right? And what happens is when you're done scrolling, right, when you're finally done scrolling, you're finally done gaming, you now have this excess amount of dopamine or serotonin in your body. And what happens is your body is trying to bring it down because it always wants to be balanced, right? Your body always wants to be balanced at equilibrium. And so what happens is you now see work as something worse than gaming, because gaming brought your dopamine levels up to here, whereas work only brings it up to here. And so when you're done gaming, you look at work and go, well, work isn't fun. I don't want to go back to work. I don't want to do more work. I don't feel rested. I don't feel recovered, because you've just spiked your dopamine so high. As a matter of fact, after gaming, most people go to bed because they're tired because of all this stimulation, this mental stimulation that happened to their brain. Right? Nobody says, oh, I'm going to go game and then go to work. No, that doesn't happen. Right? People don't say, oh, I'm going to game and then go to work. They say, I'm going to work and then I'm going to game to wind down, and then I'll go to bed. Because gaming in and of itself is a form of an activity that you need to recover from. Right? Like, nobody says, oh, I'm a runner, so I'm going to go for a run to recover from my run. That wouldn't make any sense. Right? You're stimulating the muscles, the etc. Right? And it's the same. And that's why when you, like, normally what happens is you sleep and then you wake up and go to work. Right? You don't game and then go to work. You sleep and then go to work. Right? Because sleeping is a real form of recovery. Sleeping is a real form of rejuvenation for your body. Right? It's why it's a lot easier to work in the morning. Right? Because your brain is being completely detoxed from the nighttime of you doing nothing, for example. And so as long as you don't go on your phone right away, it's really easy to get into this flow state. We can talk about how you get into flow, because when you wake up, your brain waves are closest to like theta or delta, and you can get into flow easier right up when you wake up. We're not going to talk about that, okay? But so what happens is you stimulate from gaming. And so that's why what happens is when you stimulate your dopamine and your serotonin so much, when you look at working as this thing that you look down, you're like, oh, I have to go back to work. I don't find work fun. And so what happens is you go to work only wanting to be off work to go do the thing you did before. This is what people who have a 9 to 5 have, right? They go to work, but the whole time they're at work, they're thinking about what they're going to do after work, because that's the real thing that's fun, not work. And that's why the day feels so long and drawn out and terrible and unfun, because the whole, like, they're never recovering at home, and therefore the thing they do at work isn't actually fun. So, what should you do instead, and how do you fix this? Well, here's the thing. If you truly want to recover, right, you cannot spike your dopamine when you're resting. It's as simple as that, right? You cannot spike your dopamine when you're resting. You have to do something that is objectively or subjectively more boring than the work itself. So for you, maybe a walk is more boring than work. So when you're relaxing from work, go for a walk, because after your walk, you will be happy and excited to go back to work, because work is more exciting than the walk. Imagine if you were put in a gray room all day, and the only thing you got to do all day, was enter data into an Excel spreadsheet or even read a book. How excited would you be for that 1 hour day that you got to do those things? Why are you vary? That's because compared to everything else you do, that's the most exciting thing. You see, in life, we only know what's good or what's bad by comparison, right? We only know work is boring because we compare it to gaming, right? We only know gaming is fun because we compare it to reading. That's how we know these things. And so if you lower the level of satisfaction that your brain needs, you actually make the things that are boring more fun. This is why dopamine detox works. When you get rid of all the things that stimulate your dopamine, the things that are quote-unquote more boring now become more fun. Right, this is actually how it works. If you decrease the amount of dopamine that you let yourself get, you make the quote-unquote boring things more fun, because dopamine works like this. There's like a scale of dopamine, right? And everyone hovers at a certain point of like their sort of threshold of dopamine. And it goes up and it goes down a little bit. And the lower you can bring your threshold, the more exciting, boring things come. Like the person that does nothing at all every single day, like literally nothing, like just lays in bed, and then for 1 hour a day gets to go do the dishes. That doing the dishes is the highlight of his life. That's the most exciting thing for him. And therefore he gets a lot of dopamine from doing that, because his threshold is so low. Right? So, in this case of gaming to recover for work, it's not a good idea from a pure productivity standpoint, right? I'm not talking about for fun or life, etc. But from a pure productivity standpoint, it doesn't make any sense, because you're just stimulating. You don't want to go back to work, right? Nobody ever said, "Oh, well, yeah, I can't wait to go back to work when I'm done gaming." No one ever says that, right? No one, nobody. But people do say, right, when they're going for a walk or doing meditation, "Oh man, I can't wait to get back to work." Or I'm in the shower, I can't wait to get back to work, right? And the lower you can decrease your dopamine threshold, the better this will become. So there you go. There's some food for thought on this idea of dopamine and recovering and rejuvenating, and how to, I guess, recover and rest properly from work. Because, yeah, going on social media and gaming may not just be the best things for you, and not to even mention all the downsides of social media, etc. But yeah, from a pure productivity standpoint, do not do it. If you have any questions, you want to join my cult, you got to see if you're fit for it, but you can go click the link down below.